Hey there, welcome back to Glorified Gutsy Gaming. I'm Jake, and today I will be going over the Star Trek Ascendancy factions. I'm going to rank them. There are currently 9 playable factions. The Borg are a thing, but they're not really playable. I guess you could um, make it so, but it's just not really meant for that. Though we do have people that are eliminated play the Borg and just kind of run them, but their actions are pretty pre-programmed. The only thing that they do is just choose the order of the actions instead. It's a very minor difference. I think it's fun, but it's not playable necessarily, or that you'd want to do like the full game. So yeah, top 9, and I wanted to get this out there before the Final Frontier stuff comes out, and maybe just get myself re-excited for that because it's coming here later this year. So yeah, 9. Number 9 is the Vulcans. Now this is the most different of these factions, and that could or should be a good thing, but we actually don't play with them anymore. We kind of like a couple times of like, oh, the new person's here, like we can give them the Vulcans or whatever. And it's not because they're like particularly amazing. You can kind of eliminate them fairly easily, but at the other point is that they don't need their home world to win, and we generally find that the Vulcans win the games that they play mostly because you don't know what exactly they're trying to do to achieve their victory, and they're the only ones that do that. And man, I don't really like that at all. I feel like everybody should have hidden stuff or not, or like a mix, like Hellenica. And in this particular case, I just really don't like them. I find them not fun to play at all. So we don't use them. I feel like you have to pester them all games for them not to win, or you just have to outright eliminate them, which isn't necessarily fun for the person playing it. And I would say that when I've played and even when I won as them, I found it to be less fun. So number 9. Then number 8, this is a faction I've played a ton just because of random draw. This is the Andorians. This is the blue people. They've been in most of the series from what I remember. And they do have a couple cool little things where you can like capture a ship and use it for science or something. And it is pretty cool, but I just find that it doesn't work that well, at least for me or my playstyle. I know that I've talked to people online about this particular faction because I just could not figure out how to use them. I've used them, like I said, maybe more than every other faction, and I've won a decent amount, but I don't think I've ever won with this faction in particular. Their stuff just does not really work for me. And then number 7, this is the Breen. This is one of the newer factions that I haven't played a ton with, but the games I've played, they tend to just be second. And they also play like a very defensive game, which kind of is boring. I feel like you sit around and you're just defensive and you're hoping people come and attack you and you can just destroy them. And it feels like playing a solo game while waiting for something to happen, kind of. And I'm glad that they exist and it's fun. It wouldn't be my first choice and didn't really stand out for me. And then number 6, this is an original faction of the game. This is the Klingons. I do like the Klingons, and I think that they have a nice benefit with the Borg. They almost feel like the most basic. Like I think this is a great starting faction for somebody who hasn't played yet. And yeah, there's nothing too crazy involved with their stuff. And then number 5, this is one that I actually don't love too much. Like I think I'd rather play the Klingons, but they do have this cool power. This is the Romulans. Excuse me for just a second. Anyway, so the Romulans have this cool power where they can attack first, basically, before the other person gets to roll any, so you can kill them and they roll less against you. But it's only when you're attacking. I think it's cool, and their stuff is kind of sneaky. They have some cool tech upgrades. It's just not my favorite to play. I find them to be annoying to play when it comes to the alliances, treaties, or whatever. I don't really like that setback. Katie really likes them. I think I could see any reason for liking one more than the other. Number 4, I have the Dominion. This is also a relatively new faction, and it kind of has some similarities to the Vulcans, but I feel like they did it better. Because you have these little people that can kind of go out on other people's planets, whether they say so or not. And like infiltrators, I think they're called. And it's a pretty cool little thing that they have going on. It's a little bit more involved. It's harder. I certainly wouldn't start somebody on this faction. but one that I find to be interesting, and I just generally liked the Dominion and stuff when I watched their season of stuff. Then number 3, I have the Ferengi. This is also a very different faction where you're almost more focused on trading in the alliances and making production or money out of it, and then trying to convert that to culture probably in order to win. They're not much of a war faction, but one that's really fun to play, especially if you can get 4 players. Especially more is probably fine. I've just never played with more really, and 3 is okay because that's the minimum. But I wouldn't want to. Like I feel like that's almost just a disadvantage for them going in to have 3, because you have 3 trade agreements. If there's only 2 other players, then you're down 1 right off the bat. It's going to be harder for you to go through. But in the right circumstances, I really like this faction. They're a lot of fun. Then number 2 is the last of the original factions that came with the game. This is the Federation. This is the human faction or whatever from Star Trek. And I know that they're probably really good just in general and well balanced, but they're just a lot of fun because they really reward exploring, which is one of the most fun parts about really anything in any game or whatever, trying to just explore and see what's out there and kind of setting up the map. You're looking for other civilizations or the anomalies that are not planets. They're just a really fun faction to play. I wouldn't want to play them every time, but just one that always seems really solid, and you're never really out of it as the Federation, I've found. I think you can get wiped off the map near the late game, and that's probably really their main downside. Like, they don't have, their war stuff isn't quite as good as some of the other factions. And then number 1, this is my favorite faction. This is the Cardassians, and I don't think that that's a common feeling for most people, but it's one that I've really enjoyed every time I've played this faction. I actively want to. I think they stand out a little bit more than some of the other ones because they're brown pieces. I think the Ferengi are brown too, actually, but they're like different shades. I think this is more of a camo brown. And you have to leave your ship on a planet to collect the resources. I think it's a pain, right? But it's so almost thematic and fun that it feels like a good restriction. And I can see at the very early game that this faction is very likely to be taken out if somebody really wants to, because you are really exposed. You have very limited ships, and you don't really want to send them out and explore and then potentially miss out on extracting resources that you need. So yeah, the early game is scary for them, but once you really get going, this is a faction that gets better as you go, and it's just one that I've really enjoyed all the way around. It has good tech stuff, good abilities, one that I've just really enjoyed every time. So number 1, I'm glad I got to do a video about Star Trek Ascendancy. I haven't really done one yet, and it's been one of my favorite games for a really long time. It was my favorite, and I feel like every time I play it, it is my favorite for a while until I play one of my other like top 3 or so. Yeah, hopefully some new stuff coming here soon. Gale Force 9 is having this final frontier. It's supposed to be the last ones. I think they're adding 2 more factions and some campaign stuff. We did actually play the free campaign scenario they put out, and it was pretty fun. It was a little different. I'm glad that they're doing that. And it was supposed to be out already, but later this year it should be, and wanted to get this out before then. So new faction rankings later, hopefully later this year. Thanks for watching. Bye.